I love Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't remember too much from the first game as I only played a couple of hours of it back in the day and I never finished it. So when Rockstar announced that they were gonna release Red Dead Redemption 2, I wasn't really too hyped as I never had any connection to the first game, but having played GTA and other Rockstar games, I was really excited to see what Rockstar had to offer me this time, and oh boy was it a fucking masterpiece. This video is just me really talking about the game, what I like about it and dislike, as I recently bought the game on PC, so I can finally experience the game in the glorious 60 plus FPS and not the peasant fucking 30 FPS the PS5 for some fucking reason limits the game to. I'm not really doing this video in the way I usually do it, with like me covering the story then just talking as the story progresses into the game, as I haven't finished the game yet on PC. I only finished it on PS4 and PS5, so I don't have any footage of it. So I think I'll try to go over like the important details in the story. I don't think I'm gonna cover the entire story, but I'll try to include like the most important parts. This is more of like looking back at the game, as I'm pretty sure like 90% of Earth's populations have played this game. I mean, like, for God's sake, there's even a dude on TikTok who made his like grandma play the entire game, so I think I'm good. Quick warning, I'm gonna be spoiling a almost 5 to 6 year old game, so if you still haven't played this masterpiece, go buy it, come back here to agree or disagree with some of the points I make into the video, or if you just want to talk about the game in general. And I do apologize if my voice might be a bit raspy. I recently got hit with COVID-27, the new variant. You don't even know about it, so I don't know if my voice is still back to normal. I feel like it is, but I'm not sure. So without further ado, let's get right
into the news.
The gameplay in Red Dead Redemption 2 is just simply amazing. The walking, running, gunning down enemies, everything just feels amazing. The insane part about this game is that it came out in 2018 and it still feels more polished and detailed than some of the games that have come out in 2023. Just take fucking Redfall for example. This game alone made huge accomplishment for gaming as a whole, like with just how to create an open world, create interesting characters, how to create a dynamic gun combat system or whatever in games. Everything just like, I don't know, this game just falls into like a huge accomplishments, like how it was even made, like how the fucking horses look and everything. Arguably one of the worst things in Red Dead Redemption 2 is the amount of times you run on your horse, which isn't really a bad thing, but sometimes the game can feel like a X button game, practically meaning you just mash the X button if you're on console then to move towards a new area or just follow a crucial NPC to the objective. But now on like my 10th playthrough, like thinking back on it, I realized that Rockstar didn't really have much of an option. Like, it's a fucking Western game, there isn't much they can do, can they? Like, how do you think the outlaws and citizens travel and talk to each other back then? Like, most likely they would travel long distances and just discuss various topics on the way there, and like the cast of people in this game just makes the tedious running around on the horses like somewhat manageable. And I know I'm making excuses for it, and I do agree that in some aspects and segments of the game it does become really tedious to just sit there and spam the X button. But luckily on PC it's way easier to have this auto follow feature or whatever. I know you can do it on console as well, but it's way harder for some reason. Like when you turn on the cinematic camera and like hold the run button, the game automatically just follows the NPC or the path you chose, so you can just enjoy the scenery and listen to the amazing dialogue that the game provides. I mean, this game is really realistic, and there's even a weight mechanic in the game where you somehow have to manage your meal intake and like how fast you run, how fast you digest the food, if you do any exercise or if you're just sitting in camp and eating. Like, in order to keep our boy Arthur fit, you have to like take care of his like healthy intake, then you have to do like some runs. You just can't be on your horse doing all the running. You can make him fat, skinny, or whatever. And I'm pretty sure the mechanic works for horses as well, but the one mechanic that does work is that you have a bond level with your horse, which I find really cool, because you can unlock like new abilities like rearing, I think it's called, like when you jump up with the horse on the two legs and you build up like a connection. Also, if you have a higher bond level, you can whistle for your horse further distances. So for example, when you're bond level 1, it's only like 2 meters or like 10 meters, whatever. But then when you're on the max bond level, you can go to like, I don't know, 50 meters or whatever. What I don't get is how Rockstar even did this, but there's also a NPC mechanic where the NPCs in game have different cycles that are as realistic as they can get. They literally go to work, take lunch breaks, and maybe go talk with their friends about like some bullshit, then head home and do whatever the fuck they want there. Like, I don't understand how they made this game, and it's so packed with like different shit. There's literal videos on YouTube going over like just a random NPC cycle in different cities. Like, it's so crazy. But to be fair, the mechanic isn't utilized as much as I hoped it would be, because you really have to pay attention to them. I don't get why they probably wasted a bunch of money and time on these mechanics, like the cycles on the different NPCs, but you don't really get to see them that much if you're not like interacting or like literally stalking the NPC. What's interesting about Red Dead Redemption 2 is that it kind of falls into the category of Witcher 3, where that game came out in 2015, 8 years ago, 8 fucking years, and people to this day are still finding new things about the game. To this day, 8 years later, imagine making a single player game 8 years ago, and people are all still finding out new shit about it 8 years. Maybe Red Dead Redemption doesn't really fall in the same category, but it's similar to Witcher 3, where it gives you the options to choose like different options that massively impact the story. But you know what I mean, like there's always some different stuff. You can always have different outcomes on side quests, missions, whatever. There are small dialogue choices you can make in either side quests or main quests in the game, but they don't really affect the greater story. Maybe like in the ending or like some bits, like an outcome of a situation or event. And while I would appreciate Rockstar giving us more options, like to not just have the option to say yes or no, I understand that they were going for a little bit of a narrative story where we follow Arthur and not ourselves. Like, we're not the character. Same with like Witcher 3, but there you have a little bit more option to shape out Geralt as a character. And here you also have that, but not to the same extent. So, but I feel overall they did a good job at it. But goddamn, do I have to say, the soundtrack in this game just fucking slaps differently. Like the amazing tracks that play when you go hunting, just free roam across the map, or if you're just in an intense shootout, it's just amazing. The game also has an honor system depending on what actions you do in missions and in the free roam. For example, if there's an NPC who needs help, you can decide to help them or not, and depending on your actions you will lose honor or you gain.
I'm skedaddling, don't worry. Fuck, you see? I ain't got no stones. Alright, yeah, come here. Oh, what was that? What was that? I don't got the stones. Who's Anakin Skywalker right now, huh? Who's Anakin Skywalker, bruh? Yeah, that's what I thought. I was gonna let you live as well. You just had to be the bigger guy and just fucking say something dumbass shit to me.
I really like this mechanic, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. For example, one time I was trying to help a guy who got robbed by some O'Driscolls, and yet after killing them, I lost some honor. I guess because the game counts them as normal NPCs and it counted as a bad actions, like, I didn't really get it. But there was also one instance where I met a lady in a town and she said she needed help and she killed a man, and she's like, oh, can you hide the body? I'm like, yeah, sure, because it was in self-defense. But then some days later, I spot her again and she killed another man. So I'm like, bro, you're literally a serial killer now. Like, you killed 2 people now. I'm pretty sure it wasn't intentional, but when I declined her offer to help her, I'm like, no, bro, I want to turn you over to the police, bro. You killed 2 people already. Then I lost honor because I didn't want to help a murderer. Like, what? Another situation that got me questioning the honor system is one of the bounties you can collect is like a famous gunslinger up in the mountains, and you have the choice of either killing him or disarming him, and when you disarm him he will get all pissy about you not killing him, and only a pussy disarms someone instead of killing them. It got me thinking, because it does make sense to gain honor for sparing him, but I felt like we could get an option at least to grant him a duel yet again and just kill him to gain the honor, as that's what he wanted himself, right? He's like, oh, kill me, motherfucker, don't tie me up like some pussy sissy ass girl. Like, I guess it's just personal preference, and it really depends on the bounty hunter's character. Like, maybe he's just like a old pissy guy who just talks nonsense, but it's just something I thought about when I was playing the game. Speaking on the honor system, another bad thing about the gameplay is the dialogue options. And don't get me wrong, the game has amazing details with NPCs, such as you rescuing a man and then later in the game finding him in a town where he rewards you. In reality, it's so basic because you either have the good guy option or the bad guy option. You can either greet an NPC, be all friendly, or threaten them. And this hasn't really been improved upon from the first game, because the first game had a similar mechanic where you could greet someone and just like threaten somebody, so it's not really anything spectacular. It is really basic, but I think it does get the job done pretty well with somehow letting you immerse yourself into the world when you go into a city and just greet people. Or if you wanna immerse yourself as an outlaw, you can just threaten everybody with like, oh, fuck you, boy. Nakey Jakey, what the Nakey Jakey made a great video about how dated Rockstar's design is, which you should watch. But one great point he made is how Rockstar is really struggling with what options to give to the player. For example, in GTA 3 they gave the player all the freedom they possibly desired, with letting them handle the mission however they like, with the objective being killing a dude, or just do it however you want. But I think instead of me just sitting here talking, explaining on how a mission could went down in GTA 3, I'm gonna do a live session recreation of what could happen in a mission in GTA 3.
Agent, you have been deployed. You have to kill this motherfucker sitting in town square.
Oh, cool, yeah, I'm gonna bring his car around into the car shop, and then after I take it to the car shop, I'm gonna put a fucking bomb in it, and before the mission starts, when he gets into the car, it's gonna fucking explode, and I'm not even gonna get a wanted level, because they will never know it was me. Haha, I'm such a fucking assassin, I'm Agent fucking 47. And when GTA 5 released, they were going with a more linear experience, so it made sense that you had to follow the mission instructions like to the point. And with Red Dead Redemption 2, on the other hand, they sort of mixed the linear and freedom experience. I don't know why, but they did. So you are an outlaw who doesn't really obey the law. Like, literally the definition of an outlaw doesn't really maybe not obey the law. And you can pretty much do whatever you want in the free roam. Like, you can rob a store, you can just go around killing people. But I specifically have a mission in mind that Jake mentioned, with that being the mission where you have to take out an overseer or like an officer silently. So the smooth-brained gamer I am, I decided to go to his office through the roof, because I saw I could actually climb the roof and go into his office through the window, and taking him out there without alerting any guards. You know, the smooth-brained gamer I am. But wouldn't you know, the mission fails because you were too creative, and that's a big no-no. So you have to follow the exact path Rockstar has for you and that they want you to follow. I remember on my first playthrough, I didn't really notice it and it didn't bug me out, but like, it does work for some missions, but it just sucks and takes the immersion out of the game, where I literally just sit back and just sigh because of the limitation Rockstar gives me, especially when I get a taste of my freedom and my creativity in the free roam aspect, but then when I go to these epic main missions, I get limited by my creativity. I have to follow the exact path Rockstar has set out for me. Don't really understand why Rockstar did this, because they could have just made small choices for the player to decide, and you get those like, oh, you can go silently and take out the O'Driscolls in a camp, or you can go loudly, or you can send out the gang. But like, give me the option to be creative. Like, just say, oh, take out this officer and do it however you want, you know. I don't want to go through the fucking building and like killing all the officers. If I know myself, with the knowledge I possess, because the smooth gamer I am, that I know I can climb on top of the roof and drop down through the window, just crack open the fucking window with my knife and just take out the officer without alerting anybody, why wouldn't be sorry, I just noticed I got a wrinkle on my brain because of all that fucking molding coping I just did. Honestly, what the fuck can I say about this game's graphics? Like, they're really out of this fucking world. Like, a few games have really blown me away and just forced me to enjoy the scenery or like the beautiful graphics they give me, but goddamn, Red Dead Redemption 2 is just something else with its graphics. Like God of War 2018, like I can feel the game, and like Red Dead Redemption 2, I can just feel them like just fucking tying me up to the chair and just forcing me to enjoy the scenery. Like they're literally forcing me. There's nothing I can do. I literally cannot count how many times I've just stepped back and enjoyed what was being shown to me. Like just seeing the nature at its finest, the waterfalls, the sun reflecting on this water is just simply amazing.
God damn. God lordy lord, look how beautiful this game is. Good lordy lord. Good lord. Rockstar did really bless us with this game, huh? Literally I already have 10 hours into this game on PC. And most of these hours have just been fucking roaming around, just fucking looting buildings and just exploring the wild area. I remember a game that didn't force me, but just encouraged me to do so. And like, I feel rewarded for it. Like buying a new horse, guns and whatever.
This game is so realistic. I remember when people were so hyped on the game because there was an article that got released talking about you being able to see the fucking balls on your horse shrink depending on what weather you are in. Can you name me one game that got a fucking article released saying, yep, this game's graphics is fucking top notch, where you can see your horse's balls shrink? I mean, for God's sakes, you can literally see the muscles on your horse move depending on how fast he moves, and you can even see his fucking balls. This game is absolutely beautiful, and I haven't seen a game this beautiful since God of War, and they pretty much came out in the same year, so no game has topped it ever since. Oh, maybe Ragnarok, but the face animations on the characters are really good and just give so much more emotions and enjoyment to me as a player, where at times I can see myself being with these characters. Like they feel like real human beings with like how they move, how they breathe, how they talk, how they blink, whatever. And another great thing about the graphics is that the gore in this game is something else, bro. Like sometimes you can just shoot at an enemy in the heart and you can just see them slowly die as blood is pouring out of the hole you shot him. It's just like, I'm like, bro, maybe I shouldn't have killed him.
Yeah, what was that, boys? What was that, boys? Huh? What was that, boys? Huh? What was that, boys? Yeah, that's what I thought. Bitch. If I just do this, they'll never be able to recognize the victims. Oh my god, the gore in this game. One thing I do have to say, even though how bad Dead Island 2 launch has been, apparently, I can't really say too much because I haven't played the game myself, but I feel, from what I've seen, the gore system is really good, and it would be cool to see other games implement the same sort of gore system as that game. Oh, there, mister. Don't mind me, just all bloody.
Like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't have all the footage from the story, so bear with me as I won't have the clips for some of the stuff I talk about. And I wanted to wait with this video to like gain all the footage to actually finish the story on PC this time, but I thought it's been so fucking long since I made a video. I've already written the script, so I might as well just go for it with the footage I have, because I already know what's happening in the story. I still remember like almost every detail. So play as our sweet dear boy Arthur Morgan, who's a part of a gang whose leader is Dutch van der Linde and Hosea Matthews. In the beginning of the game, we learn that the gang is a bunch of outlaws and were forced to leave a town with a lot of money behind and not being able to go back and collect it. So basically the whole game is just chilling with the gang, avoiding the law, and gathering enough money to move somewhere quiet and non-lawly. The story does sound pretty basic when you just hear it like that, but the gameplay is what makes this game a masterpiece, and the writing and the characters that the game gives you. Everyone you meet in this game is noteworthy, as you meet different gunslingers, different bounty hunters, different wanted men or women. It's everyone basically you meet in a store even is fucking noteworthy. Like every character feels like it's their own person. They have like some sort of backstory. You're not intruding their space with like, oh, I'm Arthur Morgan, I'm the main character, you have to do it like that. But it feels like everyone is just living their lives and everybody has a story to tell. And that applies to the gang itself, where the game is centered about, where everyone feels special in the gang and everyone feels like they have something going on for themselves. Maybe like not Sean. He doesn't really have anything special going on for him, like a special trait or anything. Like he falls into the stereotypical Irishman who just curses and drinks. But I still love Sean nevertheless. But the most important aspect, the cake of the cherry, as you may say, is this man right here. This magnificent man right here. Arthur fucking Morgan. I promise you, just buy this game alone for Arthur. Like, I'm not even kidding. His character is so good that I would just recommend the game just by his character alone and just how he develops as a character. Like, the gameplay can be shit, the fucking dialogue, everything can be shit. It's just if Arthur is there, the game is a fucking 10 out of 10. That's how good his character is and how greatly he impacts my experience and how I feel about the game. You can see in the beginning of the game how brutal and just pure out mean Arthur is without any input, such as this scenario where this piece of shit Strauss wants money back from a guy that he lended it to, and Arthur immediately resorts to beating the shit out of him just to get the money.
He's more slippery than he seems. I've tried being polite. Don't take any nonsense.
Nonsense? Me?
If he doesn't have the money, beat him.
Well, I usually do.
I know.
But then as the game progresses, he starts to develop more as a person and actually reflects on his actions. He slowly starts to almost grow up from this gang fantasy, and he tries to like push John, the guy from Fortnite and the first game, away from the group, and encourages people also like Sadie to leave the group and get a life. But Arthur gets sick with TB because of his actions. What the man he used to be, he is dying because of it. He got tuberculosis or whatever it's called. And he needs to make himself better, and it just works so well within the game. One cool fact I never noticed the first time I played this game, only on this playthrough, is when you get into the fight with the big guy at the bar when you're meeting Javier and Charles, I think, is that you actually meet Tommy, the guy who gives TB to Arthur, and it's actually pretty cool to see him. And they're actually given a hint that he actually does have TB, where you can see him coughing, and like he's actually a decent human being because he wasn't related to the big guy at the bar. He just wanted Arthur. He just wanted to stop Arthur from fucking killing the man. There's just so much incredible stuff, and it just works so perfectly within the game's motive and stories. Arthur is easily top 3 characters of all time for me. Like, I swear to you, I can do whatever I want from life, and just like from time to time, his character just pops randomly inside of my head. I'm like, oh shit, I remember Arthur. He was a really fucking good character. And of course, you already know my favorite character of all time is Kratos, but god damn it, isn't Arthur so damn close to being next to him or even taking over his place. It's just so interesting to see all these characters develop, and it just works so well within the story of the first game. For example, when you play the first game, you will recognize Dutch in the second game and start to wonder, what made him break and become the evil man we know him in the first game? Or if you didn't play the first game and this is your first game, when you start playing Red Dead, you start to realize that Dutch isn't one of the best guys, you know, he's actually pretty fucked up. In the beginning of the game, people are talking about Dutch killing an innocent woman on a boat, and it's practically traumatized everyone, but they don't think too much about it. And then later on, when the gang are in Gorma Island or whatever it's called, Dutch slowly is dipping into the insanity pit as he just kills another innocent woman as he believes she would betray them. I remember just fucking playing it for the first time. I'm like, holy shit, Dutch is fucking insane, bro. Even later on in the story, Dutch just pissed me off so much. When Arthur is almost captured by some guards, you can see Dutch in the fog slowly backing away and not helping Arthur, who's practically his son. He's been together with Dutch and Hosea for like since he was 10 years old. And what doesn't help as well is that this piece of shit Micah turns out to be a rat for the Pinkertons, which are the police of the universe, and he slowly just feeds into Dutch insanity with him feeding him lies and just forcing him to do evil shit like, Dutch, we need to rob this lady. He's like the fucking devil on Dutch's shoulder. But Dutch even abandons John at some point and tries to come up with like a shitty excuse on why he abandoned him. He's like, oh son, I was going to pick it back up. And exactly elements like this in the story is what makes the game interesting, with Arthur realizing that the gang is slowly going insane and disbanding. Nobody's trusting each other, and it's not a good life as he tries to make amends with the family of the guy he killed that gave him tuberculosis, and tries to make up with like some of the gang members like John, Sadie, and like Charles. And even though how much I love Arthur as a character, just like the whole gang just oozes charisma and like just character development, just Dutch specifically, he just like is the perfect embodiment of a villain, because you can see him like, oh shit, I actually like Dutch, he actually cares for the gang, but slowly you just see this like good sort of man just fall into the deep insanity and just like becomes evil. Like when he loses his right hand man Hosea and everything, it's just like, it's amazing stuff. I remember when I watched the cutscenes for the first game, like what Dutch says to John when they meet for the first time and the last time, it just works so well with the second game as well. I have no idea how they managed to connect the first game and second game so fucking well. Like they must have some really talented writers to make, first of all, to make a good character like Arthur, but then connect the two stories so seamlessly. Oh man, like I'm just trying to sit here and explain the story to the best of my ability, but like the whole game and the story is just like an experience you have to try. Like no matter how well I form my words or sentences, I can never justify the story on how good it is. The only thing I can really do is just suck off the game and try to explain everything that happens in hopes that you decide to buy the game and play it for yourself. But again, a massive spoiler warning here, as I will be discussing the endings of the game. And if you felt interested by anything I just said, it was minor spoilers, but I think even though all the things I just said about the story, you will still find a really good experience for yourself. So if you want to get the game, get it now and come back later. The game offers up to 4 different endings, depending on what actions you chose throughout the game and what honor level you have with Arthur. The ending of the game revolves around the gang finally splitting up and Dutch finally reaching his evil point as the gang is surrounded by Pinkertons. Arthur and John decide to escape, and as Arthur's condition has gotten worse, he decides as a final act to help John escape. And here are the different endings that come into play. You can either choose to help John escape the shootout with holding back the Pinkertons as Micah catches up to you and you having a fist fight with him, and Dutch showing up. After beating Micah, depending on what honor you have, either you will be let go by Dutch and Micah and letting Arthur take one last breath before passing out, or if you have the low honor, you'll get shot in the head by Micah.
Not better than me, Morgan. Whatever you say, you fool. Damn you. Damn us both!
The other choice is to get back to the camp and get the money back that you wanted so badly in the beginning of the game. All comes fucking full circle, and you will get ambushed by Micah, where you also have to fight him, and here comes the honor into play as well. If you have low honor, Arthur will get repeatedly stabbed by Micah until he dies, but if you have high honor, he will only stab you once, but leaving enough life into Arthur to let him watch the sunrise, as in the other endings. I have to say, even though I will forever stand the high honor help John ending, the ending where you go back for the money with low honor will forever be fucking badass. Like, the people who say Joel will beat Arthur's ass, like, this motherfucker is like on his limits. He has TB, and he still manages to cut through fucking 100 of Pinkertons and get the money, bro. Like, nobody will forever be on Arthur's level.
Dutch. Micah. Come and get me, you bastards. Dutch!
I have to give a special thanks to Roger Clark. Like, even though he might not watch this video or forever like see it, I will want to thank him for this amazing performance and legitimately making me feel emotions I haven't felt in a long time. Like, the character he portrays, the voice acting is just so perfect. I can't think of another human more fit to play Arthur, so thank you, dear sir.
I got some jelly beans. You like jelly beans?
What I will never forgive Rockstar for is straight after this fucking emotional roller coaster, they just start off the epilogue with John, Jack, and Abigail cracking jokes and acting like nothing happened. Rockstar, let me fucking process this train of emotions. Don't start cracking up jokes. Don't, bro. I just lost Arthur Morgan. I spent like 90 hours with him. I'm now ready to like fucking start hearing jokes. In the epilogue, you get to play as John Marston from the first game, and I found it always really cool because it built even further character on top of him from the first game, and it was also nice to see him in next gen graphics or previous gen. I don't know, PS4 graphics. It's still good graphics, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fucking pussy. I fucking cried the first time I played this game, but it was mainly because the game gripped me like no game has ever done before, and I was genuinely so sad over losing one of my favorite characters ever that I grew so attached to. It's just really good writing with having such a basic story trope of like, oh, the bad guy is really angry and strong and cool, but then he gets sad and good because of deadly disease. Like, it's just simply amazing how they turn such a simple story and to make it something really beautiful, like noteworthy. People still talk about Red Dead Redemption to this day. And what's even better about this game is that depending on what you decide to make your Arthur, like if you have high honor or low honor, it works either way into the story, because either your Arthur decided to grow as a person and start to reflect on his action he has done throughout his life, or he never learned from it. He just decides to go back into his old ways. Instead of helping John escape, he goes for the money. And it also just shows how futile it is, even in today's society, just like chasing money, just being the huge piece of shit you are, you know. Just maybe it's time to start develop as a person and try to see the greater things in life, such as in Red Dead, where Arthur realizes maybe the gang life isn't for me. Maybe all the money, all the killing we've done, it's nothing. I'm pretty sure there's a saying like less is better, and I think it really works in the epilogue of the game as well, because first time I played the game I got really annoyed about John and everyone not wanting to talk about Arthur because I just love this man so much. But after repeated playthroughs, it really works towards John as a character and Arthur, because you get small mentions of other characters like discussing with themselves, not with John, where they talk about like John is actually really traumatized because Arthur was like a brother to him. He was the one who helped them escape and build this house. The family he has now is thanks to Arthur, and he doesn't want to revisit that place. He thinks the past is the past. Well, I think that's about does it. I think that's all I had to say about Red Dead Redemption 2. I know this video is a bit different from my other videos, but I just started playing Red Dead Redemption again, and I just got so motivated to make a video about it and just sharing my thoughts and just jerking off this masterpiece because I love this game. Really, again, recommend this game if you couldn't tell already, and if you're going to buy it on PC, just wait until there's a discount. It usually goes on sale on Steam for like summer sale or whatever. You can easily pick it up for like 20 bucks. That's what I did. But yeah, like I said, it was a bit different video. I didn't think it would be this long. I actually did think I was only gonna make like a 10-minute video just shilling how good Red Dead Redemption is as I just started playing it, but it turned out maybe over 30-40 minutes. I'm not sure I'm recording the voice shit right now, but thank you all so much for the patience. I'm sorry that it took so long to make a video. I'm going to start working as well on my Metro Last Light video that I postponed for too long, and eventually I hope I will finish the franchise as a trilogy with Exodus after I finish Last Light. And again, sorry for not making videos, but I got sick and then other stuff came up in life and my motivation just really disappeared for YouTube content. I have no idea why, but it suddenly came back with Red Dead, so I have to thank Red Dead Redemption for that as well. So thanks again for the support, everybody. I hope you all are well, take care of each other, and thank you again for the support, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. See ya.
Yes, Arthur Morgan, Vanderlyn's most trusted associate. You've read the files. Typical case. Orphaned street kid seduced by that maniac's silver tongue and matures into a degenerate murderer.
My money, my life, me. I wasn't good enough, so I'm too rough to marry into your family, but it's okay to ask me to help in saving your family.
I'm sorry. You're... Oh, you'll never change. I know that.
Where's our money?
I don't have it.
Sell your place.
We already owe more than it's worth.
Then sell your wife, or your family, or something. We ain't your idea of charity. Is that clear?
Thomas!
What are you looking at?
Thomas!
I said what you looking at, woman.
My husband isn't well. If we could just have more...
Like I said, we ain't nobody's idea of charity. Get us the money.
Got tuberculosis. Really sorry for you, son. It's a hell of a thing.
What you mean?
You're real sick. It's a progressive disease. You'll be... Well, the best thing is rest. Getting somewhere warm and dry and taking it easy.
I had a son. He passed away. I had a girl who loved me. I threw that away. My mama died when I was a kid. And my daddy... Well, I watched him die. I guess I'm afraid.
Oh, we do.
Get out of here. Go live someplace else. Start over. Here, take this. I don't need it no more.
I don't want your money.
Yeah, I know you don't want it.
I don't.
You sure as shit need it. Take it.
No.
I ain't looking for forgiveness. It ain't about that. But don't forgive me. Just take the money and get out of here, please. I know I ruined your life. I suffer for it every day. But don't let yourself get killed for pride. I seen it kill too many folk. Sean made it. But I tried. In the end, I did.
Come on. Let's go. We can make it. Come on, Dutch. Come on! Ah!